I'm glad to be joined now by a guest that I've known for quite a number of years. I don't know if it's to his benefit or mine. Let's hope I never need him, but he's a guy that's well respected right here in the city of Fresno, has been for many, many years. If you've been anywhere near the Fresno County Courthouse, I'm sure at some point you've run into my guest. This is the business segment here on Central Valley Talk, CentralValleyTalk.com. I'm glad to welcome in David Mugridge, a longtime attorney. How many years are you practicing now, David? It's good to see you, by the way.
Well, I'm now entering my 32nd year of the practice of law as a second career.
You know, that's before I was born. No, not really.
I think you were 5.
I think I was 5. But, boy, 32 years. And you're one of the most respected attorneys in town.
Thank you.
Did you make it a goal of yours to say, look, I don't want to do anything that's going to possibly jeopardize my reputation? A lot of attorneys don't look at it that way. I know that's the case. Even with newscasters, they don't think about that. But did you make it a goal of yours to say, look, I got to stay clean. I have to have a clean slate?
Well, that's kind of the description of my life. I try to lead an honest, respectable life, and so I'm not worried about catching attention of myself getting caught running a red light or driving under the influence or anything.
Right.
And of course, I try to instill that kind of virtue in all of my clients.
But some attorneys are great. They're great people outside the courtroom, but once they get in that courtroom, it's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. They turn into a pit bull. I hate to use that term. But
I do my job, yeah.
Now, are you that type, or describe yourself how you are in the courtroom and outside the courtroom?
I consider myself a constitutional lawyer. That means that when I get into a case and I'm defending somebody, I do everything that I can within the limits of the law and the Constitution and statutes to defend somebody. That when the Constitution says that we presume someone is innocent until proven guilty, I believe that, and I work with that, and I try to use that in all of the cases, and my approach to anything that I handle in the courtroom is, my client's not guilty, and Mr. Prosecutor, you have to prove to the jury beyond a reasonable doubt that he's guilty, and I'll do whatever the law allows me to do to marshal all the law and the evidence and the experts that I can to defend my clients. That's exactly what, in fact, I've got a little pin here that was given to me. It's 2 parts. The top part, of course, is the American flag, and the bottom part is the United States Navy. It was given to me by a client, a naval officer that was retired, that I represented years ago, and I'm proud to wear that.
Yeah. Now, let's mention the name of your firm.
My firm is now, as of next week, going to be called Mugridge Moran, LLP. I've just formed a new partnership with a young attorney that was actually a student of mine in law school here in Fresno, Amanda Moran. And I was
San Joaquin College?
San Joaquin College of Law. In fact, I'm very proud to say that everyone in my office right now is either a graduate of San Joaquin Law School or is presently a student at San Joaquin Law School. I've got a third-year law student that is that has come out of the firm about 2 months ago, and then a first-year law student that has been with me off and on, starting with Duncan Polytech High School when he was an intern.
I should congratulate you because you're recruiting people from the area. You're not going outside. And I think I commend you for actually recruiting one of your former students to become a partner. I mean, that's a huge deal. People probably don't realize how big a deal that is, right?
To me,
huge.
It's the way business should be conducted. I believe in passing...
But to be a partner, she's a part of the firm.
Oh, yes. But it's good for me.
She's vested.
I bring in young people that make me younger. I
You're
believe...
39, aren't you?
I think I'm 37. I've forgotten now. After I turned 72, I forgot. I believe in a business model that brings in new life, new blood into the firm, whatever the business is. But in my case, I love it. I thrive on that. As a teacher, which I'm a teacher at the law school, and I used to be a teacher before I became an attorney, I believe in passing on the information that we have to a younger generation and bringing them up. We don't need to invent the wheel all over again. And there's things that these younger kids are able to teach us that... maybe it's not too late to say an old dog can learn a new trick.
Let me ask you something. Tell us about your relationship with San Joaquin College of Law.
Well, I've been, first of all, I graduated from San Joaquin in 1985, And I started teaching there as an adjunct faculty member in, I think, around 2005.
So you must know a gentleman that I know that was on my other show, Oliver Wanger.
I was blessed to have Professor Wanger as
Yes.
my civil procedure professor in my first year of law school.
What year was that, by the way?
1981, and I was terrified.
Well, he's a former federal judge. I believe he was
Yes.
appointed by Ronald Reagan.
He certainly was.
Yeah, and so you learned from the best.
I learned from the best, and
Wow.
I believe in his model, which is work hard and it'll pay off.
Amazing. And so you've been practicing 32 years. You now have one of your former students come on. If people, heaven forbid, you never plan for these things, but if something happens and they do need an attorney and they need a good defense attorney, two-part question. How would I get in touch with you? And why should I call David Mugridge and your partner? Forgot her first name. Her last name's Amanda Moran. Why should I call your firm?
Well, the practice of law is a very serious thing.
Okay.
And whenever you are arrested, there is a potential that you can be prosecuted, and potentially you could go either to county jail or you could go to a state prison. So to me, it makes only common sense to treat it as something very significant.
Well, why choose you and Amanda over, say, any other firm?
We have a number of things going for us. Number one, we have my experience, but we also have sensitivity. And I believe that it's important when you hire an attorney that you have a relationship that is very personal with that attorney, so that you can trust him or her, and that you're not just doing the numbers and going rote, and it's not a client number 37 or 42 or whatever, but you actually have a vested relationship with that person, so that you really are trying to do the best you can for them.
Wow, that's amazing. And so I got to know you, and I want to talk a little bit about this. I know we only have a few minutes left here in this business segment. CentralValleyTalk.com, your favorite place to go on the internet these days, because you can watch live TV every day. So our business guest here is David Mugridge. I've known you for a long time. I mean, we don't go out to dinner or anything, but professionally I have known you and respected you. But I first got to know you really well during the Marcus Wesson trial. He is the man who was accused of killing, 9 of his own children?
Yes.
8 or 9. He's in
Yes.
state prison now, obviously. And when I was at KMPH, you were our attorney who was analyzing what was going on during the trial. And tell us a story about Marcus Wesson, how he tried to contact you.
Well, Marcus Wesson had a relationship with a real estate attorney in town that I was a mentor to, fortunately. And Marcus talked to that attorney, who said, I don't know anything about criminal law, but I do know an attorney by the name of David Mugridge.
Oh.
So he introduced me to Marcus. I went over to the jail and I met with him. He was interested in retaining me. So we investigated whether or not essentially he could afford to retain me. Ultimately, it was determined he really couldn't afford. He wanted to.
Would you have defended him?
Without a doubt. That's exactly what I do, and I'm a great believer in it. The Constitution means nothing if we pick and choose the clients that we want to take, and we turn down the ones that are unpopular.
Have you ever had anybody, and I'm short on time here, but I want to ask you a quick question. Have you ever had anybody come up to you and say, because I've talked to a lot of defense attorneys in my time, and the one question that they always get is, how could you possibly defend this person? Have you ever gotten that in your life, in your career?
Well, I've had that from neighbors who questioned whether or not I was doing the right thing when I represented Sonia Saldana back in 2001, and it was very gruesome.
And that story
case.
was, just refresh your memory.
That was the young lady that was accused of kidnapping a pregnant lady, cutting out the body from her, the baby, and then dismembering the body and scattering the remains all over the western United States and Mexico.
When people ask you that, what is your general answer?
My answer is that we need to have a vigorous defense to make sure that the Constitution actually works.
Yes.
Because on the other side, we have a vigorous prosecution that's doing their job. And if we just roll over and play dead, it doesn't work.
All right, quickly now, you're going to be representing a man by the name of Leroy Johnson of Kerman coming up in January, refresh our memories with that case and what he is accused of.
That's a case that goes back about 8.5 years now. It started out in Kerman. Mr. Johnson is accused of killing two individuals, a couple.
Young adults?
Middle-aged couple
Okay.
in Kerman, near the Kerman High School. And it's a death penalty case. The prosecutor is seeking the death penalty.
Is this
from
high
my
profile
client.
in Fresno?
Well, we've tried to stay under the radar, but
But it's coming up.
It's coming up, and,
Yeah.
and in January you won't be able to miss it.
Okay.
It'll
all right.
probably be about a 2 to 3 and a month trial.
Okay, you're prepping for that along with Amanda Moran. And let me ask you a question. How do people get in touch with you? Just look in the camera there and tell them your phone number, your email address. It's David Mugridge and Amanda Moran, LLP.
You can reach us at 264-2688. We are on L Street, right a block away, the north from the North Jail in Fresno. I'm also reachable online at Mugridge Law at sbcglobal.net or davidmugridge.com. We don't have our new firm email up yet, but we will soon. But we're easy to find right downtown across the street from the courthouse.
All right, and that number again is, say it slowly.
264-2688. We speak Spanish and a little bit of French.
All right, good deal. I appreciate your time, and good to see you. You're
My
doing
pleasure
well.
to see you, John.
You look well,
yes,
David.
I'm feeling well. God has blessed me.
Yes, all right. I hope he continues to bless both of us. All right,
Amen.
David Mugridge, a long time, 32 years in running here in the city of Fresno as an attorney. He now has a new partner, Amanda Moran. Used to be a student. All right, this is the business segment here on CentralValleyTalk.com.